Belgian court is considering whether to prosecute the sole surviving official allegedly involved in the 1961 assassination of Congolese independence leader Patrice Lumumba. The president of the court has announced that a decision will be published on the 17th of March 2026 on whether the indictment by the federal prosecutor will be admitted and if an oral public trial will be held. To help us understand the significance of this hearing and what it could mean for the Lumumba family, we're joined from Belgium by Wolfgang Kaleck, who is their legal counsel. Wolfgang, thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
The court in Belgium heard arguments this week. Why is this hearing so important for the Lumumba family and even more than 60 years?
Look, this is an historic trial because the European countries never came to terms with the crime of colonialism and with the most violent episodes within colonialism. So there have only been a few successful attempts in the Netherlands on behalf of Indonesian villagers and in the UK on behalf of the Mau Mau community from Kenya to get reparation. But there was never one of the colonial, let's say, perpetrators, and I'm only talking about those crimes who have been committed after the Second World War, who was put on a criminal trial. Therefore, we consider it already as a big success that after 15 years of proceedings, the federal prosecutor released an indictment against the last remaining of 10 Belgian perpetrators. So it's about scratching the impunity of colonial crimes, but it's also to maintain the historic history by establishing judicial facts.
So is that what you say the court is examining exactly?
I mean, we have discussed on Tuesday when in our hearing. By the way, I'm not based in Belgium. I'm based in Berlin. I'm the head of the Berlin-based human rights organization, European Center for Constitution and Human Rights, and we're supporting, let's say, reparation claims from colonial countries, in particular in Germany, of the the German genocide in Namibia before 1908. So what we have been discussing was the only way to have a trial now is to say that it has not prescribed. And so we argue that the assassination of Patrice Lumumba was a war crime because it was an international conflict. That's the one thing. And the other thing is that the Belgians until now are saying, I mean, not the Belgians, but those whom we accuse are saying, no, it was the Africans. It was Mobutu. It was the forces in the Katanga province, and we didn't play a real decisive role. And that is something that would be really great and a big step forward if this could be established in a public criminal proceeding, that the overthrow of Patrice Lumumba, democratically elected president, first democratically elected president of Congo, and his torture and his murder, his and of his two companions, was an organized crime by the Belgians, by the US, and by some Congolese forces.
Why does pursuing justice now matter, particularly when it comes to the history of the Democratic Republic of Congo and the world?
Look, I have full comprehension for those who are saying that this criminal trial comes too late and is not enough. And I partly agree. Because the history of Congo in the last 65 years is plastered by millions, by 10 millions of deaths in various wars. So on the other hand, colonialism is an open wound for many reasons. It's a trauma for the family. by the way, the family was represented by the grandchildren of Patrice Lumumba. So you saw that it's also an intergenerational question. We had 20 and 30 something young men and young women arguing in the court how important it is for the family, but also how important it is for the Congolese society, but also for the African society. We have to maintain democratic and also principles who establish equality, social values. And Patrice Lumumba stands for that. And Patrice Lumumba stands also for an access of African and other society to their own resources. And that was the reason why he was killed. He wanted to nationalize the control about minery and everything, and that is a struggle we are in right now. I mean, now it's no more about copper, it's no more about gold and silver, it's also about lithium and rare earth. And we see how many of the powerful states use force to different types of force to get access to these minerals. And so what we're discussing is coming to terms with colonialism, and that means an acknowledgement how violent colonialism and the so-called civilizing mission was, but also to come to terms with the continuities. And the continuities mean that we never have established a new economic world order where the former colonized countries could gain complete sovereignty, economic sovereignty.
Wolfgang, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you so much for updating us on this. It's a developing story. I'm sure we'll chat again as we build up to that 17th of March.
Thank you very much.